Well, welcome back. We're on the trail here again. I'm going to share a couple of insights with you. One specific insight that I think every entrepreneur that is scaling and growing their business, planning on an eventual exit at some point in time, faces at one level or another. And that is the key employee problem. A lot of times you'll have situations in your business where you're hiring someone where your level of expertise and skill and understanding and knowledge is minimal. And you're hiring someone where that person has this deep level. And I'll take the technology. You're hiring a CTO. You're not a technology person. You're a sales and marketing guy. You've built your business. You know what you're doing. You can bring in the business. You can sell your products. You can explain the technology, but actually doing the coding or crafting the technology and designing the software platform or whatever the situation might be, you have very little understanding or knowledge and the ability to do that. And you're relying on this key person. Now here's the rub, is that if that key person is smart and isn't really committed to the company and to you, you haven't given them a lot of equity so that they're looking for current compensation as the way they get paid. You have a situation where they may try to take advantage and leverage your situation to be able to hold you hostage on additional pay raises and bonuses and perhaps equity into the company. And if you back yourself into a corner where they become so important to your company that your company would literally stumble and create a huge problem if they were to walk out the door or go to a competitor and take all that knowledge with them. And that is always the nightmares that entrepreneurs have when they look at being able to retain these key people and not being able to structure their compensation or their equity options and things that they are involved in properly. They really need to understand really where they're coming from. And that is a situation that I think a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners that don't have this technical expertise, they sometimes drop the ball on this. And when they drop the ball on this, it creates a real issue and problem, and you can be held hostage, and especially when it comes time to exit. If these people don't have the motivation and they have the knowledge and they threaten to walk out, that creates a real problem. The ideal situation is that you're able to tie them in with some sort of vesting program that is reasonable and that gives them the incentive to build the company, that their payday down the road, if they do the right things, is going to be big enough that they're going to walk shoulder to shoulder with you and grow the company. The problem is sometimes um, technology people sometimes get fed up because they don't get the rewards and the appreciation and the recognition for what they do. The boss and the entrepreneur has a big ego. He takes the credit for a lot of things that they do. They stop feeling underappreciated. And if they're really good and they're networked well within their industry, they're going to have headhunters and other people reaching out to them, painting a much different picture where they will be appreciated, they'll make more money, they'll get bigger equity grants in this company. Other companies are growing faster than yours, and you become so dependent on them that you can't afford to have them leave and you don't have any leverage with them. That's the type of situation. The ideal type of situation that you want to create is that there is an equity motivation, there is compensation, there are bonuses, there is ample recognition. You don't have an ego that overshadows their department and what they're doing. A lot of technology people are very proud and they have a real vested interest in the beauty of what they're creating and the code that they're writing. They just have an appreciation to know how difficult it is to be able to do good coding and to craft the solutions that are elegant, that solve the problem, that you're able to market because you're the sales and marketing guy. You're able to market that. But you don't give credit, you don't give recognition, and sometimes that can be a real issue. And these technology people can either walk out the door with very little notice and go take a different position for more money a lot of times and a bigger opportunity because you just didn't recognize what you were doing and giving them and being able to tie them in, so it was expensive for them to leave. So the real point that I really wanted to drive home today on this business exit insight is that as you're moving the train down the tracks here and you're moving toward that exit, you have to identify who your key people are and how they want to be able to be recognized, and that you want to be able to have them motivated and be compensated properly for what they do. And you just want to be able to have them understand how crucial they are to the entire operation. And you want to be able to provide them and make them feel meaning and be able to tie them in. And if you don't, you're going to lose that leverage. The ideal situation is that where you're marching shoulder to shoulder, the technology person understands, especially if it's in a startup situation, that they can't do what you do, that they can't go out and market and sell what you do, that they're not going to go start their own thing. They have an appreciation for what you do, and you certainly will have an appreciation for what they do, and you give them recognition, you tie them in with equity, you're able to position their role within the company that has not only the title, but the recognition that goes with it, and those vested stock options over a period of time. So that's my key insight today, that it's a difficult thing to do, and often entrepreneurs have big egos. They don't really appreciate the team around them and being able to create a culture where people feel vested in your vision, they feel vested in where the company is going, they feel a part of what's happening. You have structured a compensation where they have an equity stake in what you're doing. They're well compensated at or above industry standards. Sometimes that's difficult to do because you're running a tight budget, but the most important thing that is an asset to your company are your people. If you don't have the right people involved and they can't step up and carry the ball and be able to assume new and additional responsibilities down the road, then you have a real problem of scalability and you're going to limit your growth. So my advice would be to be able to structure a total compensation package with benefits and with salary and bonuses and equity vesting over a period of time that keeps them tied into the company and motivated. But most important is that you want to be able to recognize your key people, make them feel a part, make them feel appreciated, because that is the thing that will drive them out the door more than anything else, is being underappreciated for the contribution they're making to your success. Because if they get the impression that you're taking all the rewards and all the recognition, and that you have this ego that you have to be front and center and have the spotlight on you all the time, that's disaster waiting to happen. So my advice is that you stand back and consider and take a deep look into how you're structuring the culture and the compensation around your key people, because your key people are called key people for a reason. And if they are really truly key people, you want to be able to have them happy and motivated and want to stay with you, and that's the trick. You have to spend time on this. It just won't automatically happen. So that's my key insight for today. So I'll see you on the next episode of Business Exit Insights.